Warning. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect that of the HHN TV or its constituent entities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everybody, I'm Drew Duncan. The show's fired up and we are live. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. I am wherever you are listening to podcasts. Take your device and play Fired Up by Drew Duncan, iTunes, iHeart. Wherever you're listening, I am there. Plenty to get to today. Obviously, we're going to be touching on Chiefs and Ravens from last night, Philly and Green Bay tonight, college football to talk about as well. But as you know, it is Friday. That means our MMA insider, Austin Ford, is kicking it with us live. Austin, my man, what's up with it?
Let's go. I'm still reeling from my Chiefs victory last night. So
you know what though? They should have won that game in a blowout. You know, they had the ball on the 50-yard line after that failed fourth down. They forced a fumble by Lamar, and both times they only got field goals, drop passes, the holding penalty by Kelsey. Juju dropped a pass in the end zone. Patrick with a pass behind his guy in the end zone. They should have been able to put that game away early.
That's fine, you know. And the Ravens looked great. Derrick Henry, he couldn't stand up any taller. I mean, what is he?
6'6"?
He helped us out there. Yeah. But I was pleased with the performance. We didn't capitalize. And I agree it should have been a blowout. But, you know, the first two series, that was a nice kickoff to the season. You know, I can't remember when I've been more excited about a football season. And those first two series, the Ravens going down scoring with authority, with Lamar with the mean mug, and then Patrick coming back with the give me the next play, mean mug. It was just, man, it's going to be a great season.
Man, Xavier Worthy, in the words of John Madden, speed kills.
Speed kills. And what I loved about that run is that it was as if the Ravens weren't prepared for that speed. And he wasn't running top speed the entire time. It was amazing. And so I can't wait to see him in the open field as well as Hollywood Brown when we get him back.
Well, Raven fan is going to tell you right now that Hollywood just kind of plays whenever he wants to. So be ready for the. Oh yeah, no. Hollywood. Look, the old thing in the NFL is if you feel like you don't play, because it was an unspecified injury, right? So if you don't want to play one weekend, just tell him you got a groin injury. That's Hollywood, bro. And even when he is in the game, I mean, he definitely take plays off, man.
But Andy Reid can make those players play for him. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah. As Chiefs fans, I mean, you are Chiefs fans. Come on, man. Kadarius Toney. Of course, then again, I guess there's a reason why he's not there anymore. So
that's for sure.
And notice
everyone's out.
And notice nobody has bothered to pick him up. I mean, there's no rumors of phone calls happening for him because let's keep it a buck. He failed so quickly. The Giants got rid of him his rookie year, right? And then he really didn't do much in the playoffs the last couple of seasons, and I think he had a chance to recover, but the beginning of the season last year when he dropped that pass and it turned into an interception that was returned for a touchdown, that ended up basically deciding the game. Kansas City's defense didn't play that bad in that football game, but I think that was what forced them to sign Chris Jones back was that game, going, okay, you know, stuff like this is going to happen. But to me, it's kind of the same old from a season ago, right? More drop passes, more issues. I mean, Kelsey's even been dropping passes. He had the holding penalty inside the red zone.
What was that holding?
Well, I mean, I'm sure worse has happened. and people have probably got away with it. But, for my money right now, I understand it's week 1, right? You got to get those kinks out. But
Sure.
if you're a Kansas City Chief fan, do you really want to watch another season of Patrick Mahomes carrying a team that can't hold on to the football when it's put in their hands?
Well, I speak for the entire Chiefs kingdom. Yes. Yes. 3-peat. On deck, baby.
We'll see what happens. I don't know about a 3-peat, man. There's a reason why it's never been done in the NFL. And I understand that Mahomes and Brady, they've made winning look very easy, but you and I both know that winning is, in fact, not easy.
That's true. And last night wasn't an easy win. That's the MVP of last year. Those are the 2 best teams. We're going to win the Super Bowl. And we're going to do it for the first time. And, you were right about Florida State. But you're wrong about this 3-peat, baby.
Well, we'll see now, won't we, amigo? I guess for me, the final thought here is Isaiah Likely, to me, was the MVP for the Ravens last night. And it wasn't just the catches. He was out there blocking. And I said that the Baltimore Ravens are better without Mark Andrews, and he got very limited play time. I think Isaiah Likely is their new guy, man. I mean, he literally did everything last night. And look, I know as a Chiefs fan, you're going to say, well, I don't care that his toe was on the line. To everybody else watching that game, having seen what happened and how it all played out, I think everybody felt like at the bare minimum, Isaiah Likely was deserving of that catch. But it is what it is. His toe was on the line. But I felt like he was the best player for the Ravens last night.
I looked at a picture this morning, and it looked like his toe was over the line. It wasn't on the line.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't look like it was smashed onto the chalk.
Right.
It was a close call, and the talk about last season. If Snead doesn't punch out that football when he crossed the goal line, one play away or one penalty away, and that's how close this game is. That's how fun this game is, and what a great catch. What a great game by him, and I'm glad the ball bounced the Chiefs' way. Go Chiefs.
My man, I ain't mad at you. And look, I tell people all the time, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. But when he plays against Denver, I hope he wakes up in the morning, has to use the bathroom, and he stubs his toe on the edge of the bed on his way to the bathroom.
Denver?
Yeah.
Oh, the Broncos. I see.
Yeah, you got jokes this morning. I see what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah. No, we're not going to be Denver. Denver will be no better this year. All right. Bo Nix can't throw it more than 30 yards on target. We for whatever reason we got rid of Samaje Perine, and my only surmise is the fact that he dropped a pass and he also had a fumble. I just we're not any better on the offensive line. Defensively, I don't think we're going to be anything special. This is the same coach that allowed 70 points from a season ago in one game. To me, if we were, and then the treatment of Russell Wilson on top of that, I never saw that man yell at Drew Brees that way ever, and you can't tell me that Drew Brees never messed up. But the way that they were purposely trying to get him to react on the sideline to make him look bad, so that way they could justify getting rid of him after the way that they were treating him behind closed doors. I mean, that's why Denver struck out in free agency. Everybody in the NFL saw what happened, and anybody that was not desperate to play football, They looked and they said, man, I ain't going to go play there, bro. That ain't happening. So if Denver wins 6 games this year, I'll call it a win for the season, and I'm not even kidding.
Agreed.
Yeah. We did bring him on to talk MMA, I promise, everybody. Real quick here, I know I sent you the article yesterday, the Sphere event. Look, there's the potential for crash and burn, as you know, with every event. Dana White suggested $28 million was going to be the gate, which would have been the biggest of all time in UFC history. He promised the same thing with the McGregor fight, which ended up not even happening. Now the numbers have suddenly shrunk to about 20 million, and they are spending roughly 20 million right now alone on this event. And then on top of that, there's boxing that night. The NFL and college football, they're back now. Dana White, is this going to be a win or a loss for the UFC at this point?
No, it's going to be a win. It's going to be a great card. I don't see the card being the greatest card of all time.
Yeah.
But it's the UFC. It's 2024. Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili. It's going to be a great card. But the technology of the Sphere, I believe in Dana White, and when he says this is going to be a one-of-one, the coolest live event anyone's ever seen, I believe him enough to go, I got to see this. I couldn't tell you why the numbers are down. Like maybe those tickets are so expensive that no one's buying them. Or I don't know why, but I believe that this show is going to be so unique, and I can't wait. I can't wait for it. Even watching it on TV, I would love to be there. The technology of the Sphere, it looks so cool. And I really can't imagine how big those lights are going to be for those fighters and for the spectators. Basically the entire inside of the arena is lit up. They're showing a feature film. What are they doing? I can't wait. I'm very excited for it.
Well, to answer your question, reportedly the nosebleeds are roughly $3,000 and the higher end seats are right around $12,000. So this is an event for the well-to-do. So, I mean, let's just keep it a buck. The affluent, whatever you want to call them, the richest people, they're the ones that are going to be able to attend this fight card, which begs another question. I mean, it is becoming increasingly, and this is something that I've talked about and a lot of people have been discussing over the last couple of years, it is becoming extremely expensive to be a sports fan. You look at right now, you got to have YouTube TV, you got to have Peacock, you got to have Amazon. Then in addition to that, NFL Sunday Ticket, they just somehow were able to get out of that lawsuit. The hundreds of dollars that you got to spend on that thing a year. And even then, you still have blackout games, even though they claim that you don't, you do. Then you've got the NBA, they've got their deal that's a couple $100. ESPN, if you want to watch the UFC fights that are not on pay-per-view, you got to have their app and you got to pay for their app. Otherwise, you're blacked out. I mean, it's becoming a struggle to be a sports fan. And I don't know that it's going to get any better.
Well, if they keep paying these guys they reset the market every season. So it's unfortunate. Good for them, bad for us, and you're just going to keep seeing better and better pirate sites making it easy for the broke man to watch the pay-per-views. But with the economy, what are we going to do? Are we going to boycott? We're going to leave the Chiefs Arrowhead empty? No, we'll just find a way, and sports fans will just find a way they'll just generate more money. You know, let's get some fan NIL money going on. I'm like, how can the fans make money off of sports? You know,
well, they're constantly asking fans for money. In fact, Oklahoma State, they just did a thing where they did you see that they started last weekend where they've got QR codes on the back of helmets for live games where you can donate money for NIL. But here's the caveat, right? They didn't say specifically how much of whatever you donate is actually going to go towards NIL money for athletes. So basically, you could give $200 to Oklahoma State, but you don't know how much of that money is actually going to see there.
I hope a total of 0 people ever donate from QR codes for the helmets.
Yeah, same.
0. That's like every time you go anywhere now to get some food, do we want a tip? No, we don't want a tip. And my wife says, well, they're not, they're struggling like the rest of us. They're not making, top dollar for this job. Why not? Okay, I get it. Or every time I go to Panda, would you like to round up? Oh gosh, fine. I'm a sucker for Ronald McDonald House. But dadgum, do these football players need more money? They got their wish. College players making money. It just seems lazy to me to do no names on the back of the jerseys, but QR codes. Drew, have you pulled your phone out, turned on your camera, and tried to catch a QR code on the TV yet?
Hell no.
I'm not doing it.
No.
Who's going to do it? Nobody's going to do it. I hope nobody does it.
No, somebody out there is going to do it. And that's the thing. They know people are suckers. But for me, I look at college athletics and I say to myself, there is always going to be somebody out there with a big enough paycheck. There's a booster. There's somebody out there that's an alum of the university that is very well off, and he wants his name on a library. He wants his name in a gym. It's the way that it is. It's the way that it's always been. I mean, I don't give a damn what anybody says. I mean, come on. Alabama, where do you think they got that damn hot tub from years ago? From a booster who wanted their name on something. Somebody out there is always going to have the money, and they are going to be willing to give the money. But I personally think, though, that the really, truly shiesty part of it is not saying specifically what percentage of it actually goes to that QR code or to that, because you could pick a specific athlete, and it's got variations. It's got suggestions on how much you should donate, right? I think to myself, they are taking advantage of the common person, but that's because the common person is going to be willing to do it because it makes them feel like they are a part of the team.
It's a reach. I mean, the boosters are at the game, not watching on TV. So
exactly.
Again, we'll see. We'll see. I don't like it. Whose idea was it? Was it a great idea? Was it some GA's bad idea? We'll see in the end. But
well, and Mike Gundy was telling everybody, stop calling. Tell your agents to stop calling. We can't give you more money. It's football season. Wait till December. But then he was really gung ho on the QR code thing. It's like, wait, what? Like. Whatever, Migo. Do you, boo-boo. It is what it is, Man, real quick here, Izzy, that video of him in New Zealand where some rando was wanting Izzy to bring it on. Did you see Izzy get into his side stance? First of all, the cameraman is a walking L, all right? Because that dude couldn't hold anything steady. He doesn't satisfy his woman. Number two, why would you leave before it got good? Why? How are we not supposed to know what happened here? So the cameraman's walking out, but I saw Izzy get directly into his side stance. I don't know about you, man, but look, me getting mollywopped by Izzy isn't exactly on my bingo card, bro.
I didn't like it at all. In the way the camera, staged, fake news, maybe. But if Adesanya is getting into a potential physical altercation on the street with a random person, he must have been having a terrible day. All signs, for me as a coach, dad, friend, fan, just walk away. Just pull up your butterfly dough, climb in your car, close it, and skirt off. There is no reason. There is absolutely nothing to prove. What could that guy have said to provoke Adesanya to spit at the ground and tell him to try me? I was very disappointed. I'm a huge Adesanya fan, and I love him in the cage and how he carries himself out of the cage. But this, like you said, this is an L. This is a walking L. That was not a good look for Adesanya. Why did you do that? I have questions. But
well, yeah, because my thing is I don't want to judge anything yet because we don't know what was being said. We don't know what was going on. All we know is that there was a potential moment where Izzy damn near knocked a block off of some dude on the street. And I think about the Diaz brothers. Remember that situation? Wasn't that down in New Orleans? What was it, last year when that all went down? And then after those guys lost the fight, they tried to sue Nick and Nate Diaz, and the judge said, that's not how this works. You can't run up on people, and then because you find out they're MMA fighters later on and you got your ass whipped, now all of a sudden it's a lawsuit for the beatdown you caught. That's not what happened here. Self-defense is still a thing. Now, obviously, dude didn't make a swing, but dude was clearly antagonizing Izzy on some level because he was telling him, you don't want this, and flexing and all that stuff. Now, I understand your position, right? And that is Izzy is a professional fighter. Number one, be an example to kids, which my thing with athletes, that's not what they're paid to do. It is what it is. And then, of course, it's, bro, you and I both know there's a 99.999% chance that whoever that rando is, he's not getting over on Izzy, and Izzy's potentially putting himself in an even worse situation if he really puts that man down. So I get it. But let's also remember the Mike Tyson situation on the airplane where the guy was hounding Tyson. Tyson kept saying, please leave me alone. The guy's hounding him, flicking his ear, bottle of water, give me an autograph, give me an autograph, give me an autograph, just begging for it. And eventually Tyson said, okay, you want something? Here it is, 2-piece and a biscuit.
Well, that's a confined space. Mike Tyson had nowhere to go.
True.
But Adesanya had his beautiful car. He could have got in and drove away.
True.
There's no excuse for Adesanya. What could he have said? I don't want to go to jail. I've never been to jail. I don't want to go to jail because someone brought me out of my character. Also, I don't want to hurt myself hurting someone else potentially. It's just a bad look. And I hope we get to find out more about the incident. I hope Adesanya addresses it and clears the air. And at the end of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I would have spit at that guy too. I hope that's the case. But I hope what's not the case is that Adesanya is human. I hope he's not. I hope he's just mean, is he mad about the ways his career's going? Because he's such a mental giant. He's such a seemingly solid dude. And getting into street fights, standing in front of your $250,000 car, I just don't get it. So I'm hoping we get some more answers, because I'm not really mad at him. I wouldn't not be an Adesanya fan. I wouldn't speak against him. It would just be, that's not good, my man. That's not good, my guy. But it is what it is.
Well, with new information comes new opinions. And that's why typically I don't jump the gun on stuff like this. But,
Sure.
Obviously, I guess, damn it, man, I got to get this off of my chest. For the longest time, and look, I interviewed Hoist Gracie, okay? And Hoist Gracie specifically said to be a black belt under him, you can't drink, you can't smoke, you have to be a good example to children, right? I get where people are coming from, but I remember one day I was in a barber shop and we were discussing Ja Morant and that whole thing that was going on last year. And this guy goes, well, he's paid to be an example to kids. No, he's not. He is literally paid to play basketball. And I don't know when, some point, somewhere, everybody else started putting responsibility on everybody else but themselves. Put it on the teachers, put it on athletes, put it on musicians, put it on literally everybody except for the ones that have to have the responsibility. And it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know when or where this happened, but there is a generation that is before us that woke up one day and decided that they are absolved of everything they have ever done, and I do not get it, my man.
Is it Charles Barkley that said he's not a role model?
Yeah.
I'm with that. They're human beings, and the human character trumps all other behavioral expectations from what your sport does, or you're in the limelight, or, kids, they're looking up to you. So I'm with you on that. No, you shouldn't have this added pressure, and you can't make any mistakes. And even when I talk about the Adesanya thing, I don't care that it's Israel Adesanya. It's just anybody, any person. If they can goat you into a fist fight or get you out of your character, that's a personal flaw, no matter who you are, famous or not. And I like what the kids say now: F around and find out.
I'm telling you.
You stick your nose in there where it's not supposed to, and you catch a strong Sean Strickland, or or Marab,
man,
poor Marab. Somebody told him, O'Malley's your daddy. He's like, what? I got to get my hands on you. I mean, what?
Hey, I know you saw that video of Strickland when that guy was at his house and he was trying to hide from the 5-0 because he was running.
Yeah.
And Strickland came out with a gun. Like, he didn't even, there was no hesitation. Of course, it is Sean Strickland, to be fair. I mean, I don't think any of us would have been surprised him just walking out there. But I think for my money, I was actually really surprised at how calm he was. Because I was like, damn, man, he actually handled that a lot differently than I thought he would have.
You see, I wasn't impressed by that. It looked to me like a guy with a gun that's been just waiting for a chance to use it.
Well, he didn't pull it, though, man.
He didn't even use it. He didn't use it. He held a man at gunpoint. You don't pull it out unless you
want to use it. Yeah, I get that.
You need to use it, but he was a weird flex. Like the guy's ducking down. Maybe you have it in holstered, and your hand is on it, and you tell the guy, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Oh man, I'm running from the cops, man. Running from the cops." I'll be like, "Oh well, you can't hide behind my car, man. I'm worried about door dings. That's what I'm worried about. And I don't need to use a gun to prevent a door ding on my car."
Okay, but to be fair, though, he doesn't know what the situation is. I mean, that dude, for all he knows, could be running from somebody else trying to hurt him, right? So,
Facts.
So if he's got his weapon pulled already, then number one, it hopefully prevents the other guy from potentially drawing a weapon. It hopefully prevents anybody else coming after him from drawing a weapon. I look at that, and especially given how psychotic he makes himself out to be, I look at that situation and I think to myself, he was actually very calm. Now, look, I agree. We could get into all kinds of stuff with gun controls and all that. I personally have never. I mean, when I was younger, my pop did, and he grew up on a farm. So when we'd go out to the farm, then they had guns everywhere, right? But me personally, when I got older, I just never bought one because I prefer Louisville Sluggers. That's me. But I think, though, given what that was, he handled it to me very well. And come to find out, the dude was allegedly a jerk because supposedly he was beating up his wife or girlfriend or whatever it was. So I didn't take issue with it.
Put some hands on him, But when and I could see Sean Strickland trying to be a hero, you can look at any scenario. He shoots the guy for being in his driveway. You're going to prison. He shoots a guy that's pursuing that guy that he's running from. You're going to prison.
That's true.
The cops roll up and they make Sean Strickland, they're like, "Oh, that guy's got a gun. Drop the weapon. Get on the ground." He's
That's
like,
true.
"What are you talking about? I'm Sean Strickland." And he gets himself killed. It's just a bad look. He sees the guy out on the ring video and is like, "Oh, there's somebody between my car kneeling down, not even looking at the house." He's not a threat. And so he went out holding his gun because he's trying to be threatening. That's just his, that was a Sean Strickland incident, not just a guy with a gun, And I carry a pistol and hope I never, ever have to have it in my hand. Because when you think about it, the real scenario that will happen if you ever were to need to use your weapon to protect yourself or your family, there's going to be so much adrenaline, so many nerves, and you might have to risk your freedom to save your family. It's a big deal.
Well, and especially in the state of Kansas, bro. The defense laws in the state of Kansas are the worst that I have ever seen in my entire life. With a gun to your head, they still expect you to be able to call the police. It's ridiculous out here, bro.
All right. You better know what you're risking.
Yeah,
it's not Texas
for real.
Or where's that stand
Oklahoma that make my day law. Man.
Mutual combat, have a walk off and a draw. Guns are scary. Physical confrontation is scary. And I think Sean Strickland, I hope, he would, what he would say. I'd do it again. I wish that guy would have gave me a reason to shoot him in the head, And, okay, gosh. Everything's so dramatic with these people.
And the thing is I don't know where he gets it from, man. Like I almost want to meet his parents, like just to be like, okay, here we go. this adds up now. You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know, man. Maybe he's had traumatic experiences in life. I don't know, man. I don't know his backstory for nothing.
He has. He has. Yeah.
But
I'm sure he was bullied and got dad issues like we all do, but let it go, man.
I agree. Real quick here. Dana White was talking about he was talking about Sean O'Malley, and he's just like, oh, he's got flash, he's got this, he's got that, and this is the stuff that I look for. And I'm like, how about you look for a guy who, I don't know, can fight? Like, I've got such a big problem with sports and media right now, man. I really do, because everything is really all about marketability. It is not about who the best athlete anymore is. It's really not. It's you take Colin Cowherd the other day. He was talking about Dak Prescott and but he's just like, oh, he's such a high character guy, which we all know what he really meant by that. And he was like, he doesn't really ad lib. You could trust him in the media. And I'm just like, okay, man, like it's just, it pisses me off anymore what we look for in our athletes. We don't look for the guy who's the best athlete. We look for the guy who's the most marketable motherfucker that we can find. And I really don't get it anymore. Why? And you and I talked about this a few weeks ago. Amanda Nunes, there's still a place for her. She drew some numbers. She didn't hit Rousey numbers. She didn't hit McGregor numbers. But then again, who the hell does? She didn't hit even Brock Lesnar numbers. She didn't do any of that, right? But there was a place for her. She just wants to show up, fight, and go home. But again, the problem is, though, is she's forgotten about 15 seconds later.
Well, they're not fighting. Well, most of them are fighting for money, but the money that they make directly correlates to how many butts they put in the seats. And we see that it's something other than your ability to win, to play the game. It's something extra. It's an X factor. It's an it factor. And then we see it with Caitlin Clark. When I watch her play basketball, I'm not like, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm like, don't take that shot. Oh, she hit it. That's exciting, but her stardom is because there's something about her that so many fans love that it has increased the attendance, viewership. It really is incredible why so many people want to see. Now, with Dana White, he seems to choose these people based off his opinion on how he pushes them. He pushes them towards us, and then he stuffs some others down. I mean, we have a welterweight champion right now that he had the longest road to his title shot ever. And then when the way he won Bilal Muhammad, the way he won his fight, was it crowd pleasing? It was pleasing to me. I loved that fight. I like to see the dominant grappling, the dominant wrestling. And he had the hardest road to get to that championship. And then after the fight, Dana White's Well, I mean, he clowned on it. He made fun of that it wasn't the most exciting fight. But then we look at Paddy Pimblett, Sean O'Malley. We're kind of pushing these characters. You know, there's something goofy about them, and I think it's goofy in a great way. But there's something about these characters that these are the ones we want to be the champions. And I'll tell you what, he was right about Sean O'Malley because he keeps winning. But I just think, you know, it's got to be a balance of, is this guy a character? Is he a draw? Is he good on the mic? Can he fight? Is he winning spectacularly? You know, it's got to be a solid balance. But, you know, every single catch in the NFL doesn't need to see the nose white first down gritty dance. You know, just get tackled and get back to the huddle. Let's see a little bit more of that, you know. And then we see it trickle down to the kids. But hey, you know, I have two sons. My daughter, 20, 18, and 13. My daughter. I gave up on trying to hold on to my old school mentality. The times are a changing, and you know, I don't want to be that old guy saying back in my day, kids these days, you know. So it is what it is. I don't have to like it. We don't have to like it, but dadgummit, Drew, this is just how things are now, isn't it?
Man, you know, and I think, and here's the thing, I don't have a problem with the guy who's flashy. I don't. But I think my thing is for Dana to just come out and say, this is what I look for. And this is something that has been going on, right? I mean, you take the Olympics. We don't necessarily always have the best athletes in the Olympics because they are not marketable. You look at how many guys right now that are playing basketball on a court somewhere in New York that'll never get their shot because they're not marketable. And you know, and you and I both know what the word marketable really means, bro. Okay? So that's what aggravates me. And look, I'm gonna tell you something, because I'm sure you saw the story about the Washington Commanders. And while that guy was being set up, I was glad that it was finally said, because I've been talking about it for years. You know, they want to control the perception of everything, because in business, perception is everything. And they're limiting media now in the UFC. They're limiting media now in the NFL. They're doing it in the NBA. They're doing it in the NHL for Major League Baseball. And why? Because they don't want certain people in there. When they ask you for a plan of action and proven coverage, what they are really looking at is, if we give this guy a one-on-one with somebody, what's he going to do? I got fired because a sports news and information director could not hang on to their baseball coach. I did an exit interview with him, and then I got fired because he told the radio station that I was working for, you know what? If you don't get rid of him, we're going to pull your coverage. You are not going to be coming here. Now, how is it my fault that the university made the exit of those two look one way, but then when he got on a microphone, suddenly the fans are no longer mad at him. They're mad at the university. So now suddenly I'm a dangerous threat. Right? And look, man, I'm going to tell you something. The high character guy crap, I get tired of it, Austin Ford, because that same radio station pulled me in and said, hey, who do you think your audience is? I was like, I don't know, man. Probably a mix of people. Why? Well, from now on, when you're on the radio and you're talking and you're playing your music, I want you to think of this. And he points to himself, and then he pops his collar. Now, he's wearing a dress shirt, tie.
Huh?
Uh-huh. And guess what? Brother was definitely Caucasus, from the mountain of Caucasus. Okay? I was literally being told to stop trying to talk to black people. Meanwhile, it was 90% of black people that were stopping me on the street. This is why I hate the high character crap. That just because somebody speaks in a way that you don't understand, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't be given their shot. And I get so sick of the markability BS. You want to know what's marketable? Winning. And it's literally Dana White's job to promote a winner. That's fine. McGregor's of the world, Ali's of the world, fine. But literally, as the fight promoter, that's his job, bro.
To propel, but we often see him pushing people down.
He does. Whenever they don't perform the way that he wants them to, right? Whenever they don't do the thing that they want them to do, it's, well, here's the thing. Da-da-da. And I mean, I've seen him up front in person. He's been at Vince here in Wichita. And I've never seen a more judgmental person in my life who, to me, takes all the risk on all the wrong people. I mean, I've seen Steven Wynn fight, and I interviewed him before he ever made it to the UFC. And I'm glad that Dana gave him another shot. But to me, he didn't need another shot, and he didn't have to prove himself in the Contender Series. Steven Wynn can box, bro. But, Dana just making him jump through all these damn different hoops. Why? What did Steven do that showed you? Because he lost a fight, now all of a sudden he doesn't get a shot in the UFC? And then the way he just jock rides John Jones for no reason. Did you see that promo they dropped?
Yeah.
The GOAT promo?
At this point, it's a rich, powerful human having fun with his level of toys.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. John Jones, whatever we talked about, is he an active fighter? Is he an inactive fighter? Is he a high character guy? He's not.
Nope.
But he seems like a nice enough guy, and we don't know these people, but why are we continuing to this is a definition of a dead horse. Let's move on from the John Jones talk, and then you look at how he talked about Merab. He's like, Merab is an idiot. We've got some of the dumbest guys in the UFC. Some of these guys are the dumbest guys. You're not Jerry Jones. Okay, you're not a coach. Okay? You're the president, and it just seems kind of a jerk sometimes. Now, he probably will stand on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is how I am. I'm Boston strong, But LL Cool J recently said something that I really liked. He's like, I'm not a nice guy. I'm a good guy.
Mm.
And being a nice guy, being someone of high character, I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint anywhere in my life, and that this is what I strive to be: a man of character, honest. Someone that you can count on, someone you can confide in. A good friend. But I don't know where it's really served me well in business or my career or really just outside of friendship, where me being a nice guy has got me the job, or it got me the gig.
Nice guys finish last.
I'm telling you. And so when I heard that, I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good guy, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna think about that more often, because my son will tell you one of his pet peeves is, because he is how I raised him, and when he sees someone out and about, he's going to open the door for you. He's going to smile at you. He's going to nod at you. And then when you don't get that back, it bothers him. It bothers him. And I know how he feels. And so imagine being blissfully ignorant, walking around just, saying whatever you want to say. Like Dana White. He's got FU money. He's got FU power.
Until he doesn't. I mean, let's keep it a buck, man. Everybody's closer to it than we think we are, and nobody's untouchable. I have blown $1,500 at a dinner, and I have slept in my car. Nobody is untouchable. Nobody. That's the reality. But I love seeing a winner win, and someone that deserves their behind handed to them. I love seeing that too. So, oh, really? Is that what you're saying happened to me, bro? It might could have been.
No.
Hey, man, I made some mistakes to get myself there. Trust me, I didn't land there by accident, bro. Look, real quick here. Let's do some pick'em real fast, my man. Let's test your football knowledge. Tonight, obviously, first time ever in South America, Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people feel like Jordan Love is the next great Green Bay Packer. The Philadelphia Eagles, the way that they ended the season last year, complete antithesis of the way the Green Bay Packers did. But the Eagles did add Saquon Barkley. Both of them, matter of fact, got a running back. They went out. The Packers did. They got Josh Jacobs. Who do you like tonight in the game?
Another well-timed matchup, just like last night's matchup. Great way to kick off the season. Packers, Eagles, great second game of the season. I'm going to go with the new offensive coordinator and the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, the running game stout. I think the moment's going to be a little big for
Jordan Love.
For Jordan Love, and I think the Eagles grind it out in the old EAGLES. I went to New Jersey one time and they were doing that. All you had to do was go and then the whole restaurant, wherever you are, the grocery store, you're going to get people doing it. So that's my pick. Eagles, Jalen Hurts. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Well, I like the Green Bay Packers to win that football game. I think the addition of Josh Jacobs really takes a lot of pressure off of Jordan Love. I think they actually end up having a better season than what the Detroit Lions did. Let's not forget, kind of a similar situation the year before, right? The Lions, they don't make the playoffs, but they went out the rest of the way. Then the very next season, they go all the way to the NFC title game. I think this team is actually better than that. I think Jordan Love is actually a better quarterback than Goff. And I think, honestly, there's a very good potential for them to go to the Super Bowl this year. The Eagles, they added Saquon Barkley, but I don't think, number one, he stays healthy. And number two, I don't think they know how to use him. We saw it last night with Baltimore. They have not figured out Derrick Henry yet, and you don't have a whole hell of a lot of time in the NFL. The games are limited, and everyone counts. So I like Green Bay in Rio tomorrow. You know, you're not going to be here on Monday, so I want to get this one out of the way. The Jets and the Niners, Aaron Rodgers, obviously he's going to be starting. The 49ers didn't really make a whole lot of additions in the offseason, but they really didn't have to. The Jets do have Breece Hall, but I don't know if they're going to be using him very good or not. People are saying Aaron comes back for an MVP season. Game 1, Monday night. Who do you like, Jets or Niners?
I'm going with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. He is so smart, such a veteran, arm talent coming out of every orifice. I mean, this guy, I think he's going to really surprise a lot of people. I think he arguably could be MVP of the league. And, you know, I just think we're sleeping on Aaron Rodgers because the ayahuasca and the mushrooms and, you know.
And all the crap that he gets away with. Oh, geez.
Yeah. But he's been this way forever. Recently I saw him, I can't even remember. I want to give credit to where I saw it, but he was mic'd up. He looks like a guy that does have command of the team. He does have everyone's respect. He sees everything. He knows what's going to happen before the snap of the ball. That's what you need. I like the Jets. Now tell me why they're going to lose.
Because Nathaniel Hackett is not going to change his play calling whatsoever. This is a Nathaniel Hackett offense. You run the football on first down, you throw a screen or you run a draw play on second down, and then on third down, look off pass. And he doesn't utilize Breece Hall nearly enough. Breece Hall should be the probably second best running back in all the NFL in the eyes of the fans. But because he is not being used to his full potential, I mean, you look at opening season last year when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, Breece Hall had 96 yards, 100 yards in 2 plays. 2! And they were like, okay, bro, you don't need to touch the football the rest of the game. What? It just, Nathaniel Hackett has survived off of the fact that Aaron Rodgers was his quarterback. And every throw is a look-off. He is not going to be doing anything different. You cannot do look-off throws with that Jets offensive line. That Jets O-line could not block a D2 football team. Seriously, I'd be shocked if they could block some high school teams. They are horrendous. And I said before the season started last year that Aaron Rodgers was going to find out what it was like to be Zach Wilson. And he didn't even last 5 plays, which, by the way, all of them were look-off throws, and he was under pressure on every single one of those plays. If they do not do anything different this season, they will not be successful. I don't care who's your quarterback back there. It could be Lamar, Mike Vick, John Elway, Steve Young, Tom Brady. It wouldn't matter. They're not going to get it done as long as that offensive line stays as horrible as it is. You've got to counter that, you got to have the run game, which they could have. But they won't use Breece Hall. Blows my mind. I like Frisco, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, though, because the Jets' defense is very solid still. On to college football, Michigan, Texas. Michigan didn't play too well last weekend, but then again, they started out pretty much the exact same way a year ago. They ended up winning a national championship. The defense still looks really good to me. Offensively, I don't really know where this team is at. Obviously, with Texas, you get Isaiah Bond out of Alabama. He transfers over to your team. You get Quinn Ewers back. If he gets hurt, you've got a Manning backing you up. Offensively, to me, they just either run the football up the middle or throw it deep, and there's not a lot of in between there. It's all window dressing. Who do you like in that game tomorrow? By the way, 11 o'clock start time.
Well, that's, hook 'em horns all day. Pardon me. I love Quinn Ewers. I think he's going to be a special NFL talent. and Texas is on the rise. They're in the SEC now. It's time to see the Texas old. So hook 'em horns. That's my home state, and I'm going to say it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Really?
Yes. I think we'll see, 35, 35-28. Texas.
I think that's a stretch. I look, honestly, I'm 50-50 because Michigan forces turnovers better than anybody. They really do. Quinn Ewers was horrible and amazing in the CFP this past season. I guess I got to make a pick. Here's the thing. If it's a low-scoring game, it favors Michigan, which it should be, because Quinn Ewers has had a tendency to not play well in these situations, and he's also got hurt. He didn't do very well against Alabama. Now, obviously, last season that changed a little bit, but I also felt like Alabama beat themselves. Texas wins these types of games during the regular season, but I don't know how they're going to do if they make it to the CFP this year. They would probably have to see Georgia at some point, but I don't know that they make it out of the SEC if I'm keeping it a buck. I'm taking Michigan. I like Michigan in a low-scoring game, but I don't think Michigan takes the Big Ten this year. And even if Texas does win this game, I think maybe they win 8 games at best this season because they're just not used to the coaches that they're getting ready to see. When you're in a conference for so long, you've got everybody scouted. This is their first year in the SEC, so it is what it is. I might change my mind tomorrow, but then again, that wouldn't be fair. So Tennessee, North Carolina State, both teams come in with a top 25 ranking. People think that Tennessee may be next in the SEC. I personally don't see it. I mean, every year Tennessee gets ranked, and by week 5, usually they're pretty much out of it. But here we are, Tennessee, North Carolina State. Who do you like tomorrow?
I'm going to go with Nico and the Volunteers just because of him.
Really?
Yeah, he's talented. He's smooth. Can sling it. Can run. Yeah, I like the Volunteers in a shootout.
Yeah, I like Tennessee too. Just to be honest with you, I think it's still that time of year where teams are being overrated and ranked for no reason. I think North Carolina State falls into that category, even though I think Tennessee does too. The SEC, we saw what happened with them last weekend, right? Notre Dame beat A&M. LSU got beat by USC, and LSU really should have won that football game. They had that thing under control, even though it was 17-13. It was clear that USC was falling apart. And they didn't finish, and I blame Brian Kelly. He's blaming the kids on the sideline for the way that they're acting. You're the coach. Walk over there and stop them. That's real simple. But, Brian Kelly doing what Brian Kelly does, as long as he's at LSU, I maintain last year, if Jane Daniels hadn't been his quarterback, he wouldn't have won 6 games. And Nussmeier's not even a bad QB. But it is what it is. Final game here, Georgia Tech and Syracuse. Kyle McCord looked a little bit better last weekend. I'm still not the biggest fan. Obviously, at tight end, Syracuse is definitely set. Defensively, I don't know that we're as good as we have been over the last decade or so. Then, of course, you got Georgia Tech. They had the win over Florida State. Now they're a ranked football team. The run game is amazing, but I'm not sold on their QB. Who do you like in this one?
My heart says Georgia Tech because of the Florida State win. but I feel like it's diminished because Boston College got it done against Florida State. It's tough. I'm going to say Georgia Tech is rolling. They're flying high. I'll go Georgia Tech in a snoozer. 10-7.
I like Syracuse to win that game, and I never pick them to win. And you know that's my team. I never pick Syracuse to win. Let it be the one time. Look, here's the thing. I think Georgia Tech is a little too one-dimensional. There were times against Florida State, guys were wide open, man. And I mean open. And the throws were not getting there. You've got to run a lot of crossing routes. You've got to win underneath. That's where Syracuse is strong defensively. I don't know if we're going to be able to stop the run game, but I agree with you. That's why I hate preseason polls. That's why I hate rankings in week number 2, because Georgia Tech is ranked because of their win over Florida State. But now already it doesn't even mean anything. And remember, I said by week 7 or 8, we don't know what any of these wins or losses are going to mean right now. We have no clue. And already Florida State is 0-2 and Georgia Tech is 2-0. But that win literally means nothing for Georgia Tech now.
Literally nothing.
Literally.
Seth got him a ranking.
Yeah. I mean, that, and it's one they don't even deserve yet. It's one they don't even deserve. That is literally my entire point. And all these SEC fans get so damn butthurt, bro. I have never seen a more pack of rabid dogs in my life than SEC fans. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if they're a fan of Vanderbilt. I mean, they will come for you, bro. They do not care. It's really weird. And here's the thing. It blows me away because it's like, no, you don't get to do that, bro. Your team is garbage. You just go ahead and root for your conference champion whenever they're in a playoff game or whatever the case may be. But other than that, I don't want to see your face. You just keep quiet. This conversation ain't for you if you're a fan of Vandy. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And they're trying to act like that win over Virginia Tech was so big. Give me a break. It aggravates the hell out of me. No, I don't think so, Tim. And by the way, the upcoming schedule for Georgia Tech after Syracuse, VMI, Louisville, Duke. I mean, they really don't see anybody until they see Notre Dame. And I know somebody's going to say, well, Louisville is ranked. I know, in September. When it doesn't matter. Now, I will say this. If I was going to be a week 1 guy, Miami looked really good against Florida last weekend. They looked like a very balanced and complete football team. Defensively, they were getting their hands up. And offensively, Cam Ward, oh my gosh. That dude's got some swagger, man. I mean, there was a play where he was pointing at guys and shimmying while he's pointing and telling them where to be and then just slinging it. That was that was impressive to watch. But anyway, Austin, thank you so much for joining us. We will see how it goes. I'll take a picture for you so that way you know I'm not cheating later on. But just so you know, I thought you were going to take Syracuse initially the way you were talking. So I blotted that out, and I put Tech in there. So there it is. Austin, thank you so much for joining the program today, my man. I really do appreciate you every single Friday, Brody.
My pleasure. And now I'm headed to the golf course.
Well, drink one for me, bro. Normally my Friday nights are, normally my Friday nights are for kicking it, but I got Green Bay and Philly tonight, so I got to stay clear-minded, man. So.
Well, I stay clear-minded, too, because I'm trying to break 70. This is, I'm on 69 watch, so.
Oh, yeah? from the whites.
Yep. so now I know why you don't like golf, because you're just no good at it. That's why.
That ain't no lie. All right, everybody. I am Drew Duncan. The show's fired up, and we are live. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. Wherever you're listening to podcasts, take a device to play Fired Up by Drew Duncan, iTunes, iHeart, wherever you're listening. I am there. You can download the HHN TV app. And, of course, you can listen live Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on WBFR Block 50 Radio. Block50radio.com is live 24/7, 365. Your local programming is next. Don't you dare touch that dial.